Hello everyone and welcome to the Mythoscope. Let's see what our topic will be today. Nordic and places. Hell. Hell. That's not a place. Most cultures have an underworld where evil or crooked people or villains are cast into its flames, darkness or eternal damnation. Most of these underworlds are also taken care of. Hades, Yama, Osiris, Allah, Satan, or in the case of Norse mythology, we have Hel, who looks after, well, Hell. For the purpose of this video, and to save your sanity, I will refer to Hell as Helheim, which loosely translates to the hidden realm. But please keep in mind that the more accurate term for the realm itself is also Hell. So who was this Norse goddess of the dead? The prose of Edda gives us most information of Hel herself. It was written by Snorri in the 13th century, and he describes her as being half white, half black, and with a perpetual grim expression on her face. Her name, Hel, means hidden, and she was also one of the daughters of the infamous trickster god Loki. Her two brothers are the sea serpent Jormungandr and the wolf Fenrir, and their mother was frost giant Angbaldr. After they were born, Odin commanded that Loki's 3 children be brought to him, and when he saw how wicked and evil Hel looked, he cast her into Helheim, and thus making her its ruler. Her realm is also described in the prose of Edda thusly. She has great possessions there, her walls are exceeding high, and her gates great. Her hall is called Eljutner. Sleet cold, her dish, hunger, famine is her knife, idler her thrall, sloven her maidservant. Pits of stumbling her threshold by which one enters, disease her bed, gleaming veil her bed hangings. A hound called Garm, who soaked in blood, guards the gates to Helheim. Much like Cerberus guards the gate to Tartarus for Hades, and according to the prose of Edda, only those who die of sickness or old age go to Helheim. If you die as a warrior, you will go to Valhalla. So basically, don't dodge arrows, don't be a good swordsman, and charge in first. If you want a happy ending, basically be a dumbass warrior. Despite the darker description for Helheim, it's not really that dark of a place. Where Tartarus or Satan's hell is a place of burning and eternal agony, Helheim is more or less a continuation of life just in another place. More like a bad vacation than a burning for eternity. The only story, though, where Hel the goddess features prolifically in the Norse mythology is in the story of the death of Baldur. After Baldur dies in battle, Hermod, a lesser-known son of Odin, rides to bring Baldur back. However, Hel says she will only release him if the whole world weeps for the fallen warrior. The sun convinces everyone to weep for Baldur, but one giantess refuses, saying she doesn't know him, so let him rot in Helheim. And because Hel's conditions are not met, he kinda does. So, did she exist? To answer that question, we first need to consider the sources in which she was mentioned. Overall, she doesn't feature a lot in the Nordic scripts or epic poems such as Thor, and only truly finds life in the prose of Edda, where Snorri Sturluson describes her quite vividly. But some of the sources he mentions have not been found, and with no second opinions on these poems, it's difficult to say if he interpreted them correctly. However, in other sources, like the Poetic Edda, which is one of our most accurate sources for Norse mythology, she is more or less only mentioned in passing, and even then it might only be a mention of Helheim the realm, or even just death. As stated before, Hel the character and Hel the realm are used interchangeably, so it's sometimes not obvious if the source is describing the place, or the character, or just death. In other sources like the sagas, she is once again only mentioned in passing, and never elaborated to the extreme, which Sturluson did, or Snorri. So with all of this taken into consideration, we must therefore make the very sad conclusion that Hel was most likely an invention of Snorri. Even among scholars, his works are considered to be very romanticized, and he may have even changed some of the sources outright to fit in with the growing Christianity of the 13th century. However, does this mean that Hel doesn't exist in any context of any sort in mythology? Well, hell no. We don't know if everything Snorri wrote down was simply romanticized, and even if it was, we don't have the original manuscripts to draw our own conclusions. Many of them were lost. There are definitely some contradictions, like Baldur going to Helheim instead of Valhalla, despite dying in battle. However, even if it is just a fictionalized character invented by Snorri, it certainly is a great one. And she looks pretty damn awesome in Ragnarok. Thank you so much to Snowblood Apple for requesting this video. If you liked what you saw, then please leave a like, and thank you all so much for watching.